This happened to me in the summer of 2003, when I was barely 21 years old. I've carried this story in my chest like a stone for years. If you've ever loved someone who didn't deserve you, this one's for you. I just ended a 6-year relationship and was finally ready to take a risk I'd been too terrified to take since I was 14. I was going to tell Marcus, my middle school crush, the boy I'd been quietly, hopelessly in love with for 7 years, how I felt. By then, I'd moved from Colorado to Portland, and he was still back in Denver. I figured the distance made it safe. I could finally say the words out loud, get the rejection I was expecting, and move on with my life. I was prepared to lose him as a friend. I wasn't prepared for what actually happened. When I told him over the phone one night, my voice shaking, my heart pounding so hard I thought he could hear it through the line, he told me he felt the same way. He said he'd always had feelings for me, that he was too scared to say anything, that he thought I'd never look at him that way. He said all the things I'd been dying to hear for 7 years. And suddenly, the word never, as in I'm never moving back to Colorado, didn't feel so absolute anymore. I had access to free standby flights through my uncle, who worked for an airline, so I started flying back to Denver every couple of weeks to see him. And God, it felt like a dream. Our friends were ecstatic. We always knew you two would end up together, they'd say. It was cheesy and romantic and everything I'd imagined. After 4 months of long-distance visits, Marcus proposed, and without hesitation, I said yes. I quit my job, I packed up my entire life, shipped all my belongings in boxes to his apartment in Denver where he lived with his roommate, a guy I'll call Jake, who would later become one of the only people I trusted in that whole mess. I was ready to start over, to finally have the life I'd been dreaming of since I was a kid. A few days before my final flight back to Denver, I started feeling nauseous, off. Something in my gut told me to take a pregnancy test. It was positive. I was pregnant. And I was overjoyed. I called Marcus that evening to tell him. There was a party happening at his place. I could hear the music, the laughter in the background. He answered, and I said, I have something really important to tell you. But before I could get another word out, he cut me off. Wait, first, I have to tell you about this amazing girl I just met. She's an artist, super cool. Her name's Vanessa. My stomach dropped. The way he was talking about her, the excitement in his voice, I felt sick. I told him, don't do anything you'll regret, and then I said I'd call him later. Hours later, I called back. Someone else answered. They said Marcus was there, but he couldn't come to the phone right now. I knew. I just knew. He never called me back that night. The next morning, I tried calling again. No answer. That evening, I finally got through. And before I could say anything, he interrupted me. I need to tell you something. My entire body went cold. He admitted he'd slept with Vanessa the night before, while I was trying to reach him, while I was waiting to tell him I was carrying his child. I hung up. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. He didn't call back to ask what my news was. When I finally called him again, all I could do was scream through my tears. He kept apologizing, saying it was a mistake, begging me to still come to Denver, saying he still wanted to marry me. I told him there was no chance in hell I'd marry him now. That wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. I miscarried that week. Let that sink in. I lost the baby while dealing with the complete demolition of everything I thought my future would be. But here's the cruelest part. I still had to fly to Denver. All my belongings were already there waiting to be delivered. I had nowhere else to go. So just weeks before Christmas, I got on a plane and flew back to the city I'd left behind, back to the apartment of the man who just destroyed me. Marcus didn't pick me up from the airport. He forgot, or didn't care. I stood there alone, tears streaming down my face until an elderly couple noticed me and asked me if I was okay. I couldn't even answer them. I took a cab to his place, knocked until my hands were numb from the cold. Jake finally let me in. Marcus was passed out in his room. I didn't confront him. I acted like I didn't care anymore, like it was all just a clean break. I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart. And then Marcus had the audacity to invite Vanessa over, to introduce us. Turns out he never told her about me, about our engagement, about me moving across the country for him. To her, I was just a friend. I was erased. I spent 2 weeks in that apartment waiting for my boxes to arrive so I could ship him back. 2 weeks of silent crying on the couch while Marcus and Vanessa laughed and had sex in the next room, within earshot. It was sociopathic, but I was done being the victim. One night at yet another party, I got Vanessa alone. I'm bisexual, and I could tell she was at least curious, so I made my move. I seduced her. We ended up in Marcus's room, and when we were done, I told her everything. I told her about the engagement, the pregnancy, the betrayal. I looked her dead in the eye and said, if he can do this to me after knowing me for 7 years, imagine what he'll do to you. She was horrified. She had no idea. When Marcus walked in and saw us together, I didn't flinch. The next day, he asked me what happened. I said, she was an easy lay. I did the same thing you did. The look on his face was worth everything. I left Denver the next day. I didn't hear from Marcus for 5 years. 5 years later, I was married and pregnant with my first child when I got an email from him. He wanted to catch up. On the phone, he told me everything that had happened after I left. Vanessa cheated on him with his best friend 2 weeks after I left. He got fired from his job on Christmas Eve. His truck broke down and got impounded. He couldn't afford to get it back. His family disowned him after hearing what he did to me. His friends got him drunk, beat him up, and kicked him out of his own apartment into the snow. He'd lost everything. And that's when I told him. I was pregnant, Marcus. I tried to tell you that night, but you were too busy confessing your betrayal to listen. I miscarried a week later. He broke down, sobbing, apologizing over and over. I said calmly, "It's okay. I don't hate you. I'm married now. We just found out we're expecting. It's been nice catching up. Take care." He never contacted me again. Looking back, I realize I didn't just dodge a bullet. I dodged a lifetime of misery with a narcissist. And sometimes the best revenge is just living well.